Hi, Mark Warnke here with PackOats.com and Top End Adventures. As a lot of you know, I spend a ton of time in the backcountry, and one of the problems I've had, I'm 50 now. I'm kind of a lifelong fitness guy. I lift, I run, I do all that stuff. And this last year, I spent more time in a backpack than I think I probably ever have. I did well over 500 miles in the backcountry, but all of it with a pack on, and so I was a lot. And so what ends up happening, and I just want to explain this to you because some of you may be dealing with this and not knowing why. What happens when we're in a backpack and there's and you can put as much weight on the waist belt as you want, and great, but you still have tension here. And what happens is the rotation forward and then down to those shoulders, and then you talk about driving, which also has that same position, and you talk about texting and typing. All those positions are rotating those shoulders unnaturally. What's super weird that you don't realize is that here's neutral, and so we need to roll our shoulders back and up. So here's neutral. If you saw somebody standing like this today with their chin tucked in, this is natural posture. Now I need to look in a mirror to verify, because even for me it feels weird, but because this has become natural, then on top of it, you do bench press from this position with the shoulder rotated forward, or you do any type of muscular movements, you begin to stress the insertion points, and what shows up is shoulder pain where the pec comes in and inserts here, the bicep coming in and inserts here, and then lat and everything else comes in. It all inserts like right here, so you get a lot of shoulder pain, and then it'll show up because you're rotating weird, it'll show up in the actual socket itself. And I've been dealing a lot with it. So if you're dealing with it as well, the two things that I've been able to do to overcome that is Graston, and there's tons of information out on Graston. They make these little tools. It's a scraping thing. You can actually see I have bruising from doing therapy a little bit right here on myself, and it's the scraping of the long muscles. And I do it in the bathtub, and I'll use lotion. And what it does is it goes in and helps all that scar tissue that builds up like little pickup sticks in the long muscles. And what we deal with regularly in our lives, especially as we age, is that those long muscles like to shorten. And so when I'm stressing this muscle out and I'm stressing this muscle out by improper shoulder position, then what's happening is those are constantly pulling on this insertion point, and that's where the soreness comes in. And then the problem is where the soreness is gets super bad blood flow. So when you do Graston, you can see that this is turned cherry red. And it will up here too. What we do is we encourage the body to send blood flow. We micro abrase it. We basically injure it slightly. And then the body sends resources there. Now, in complement to that, a guy has to create stretching mechanisms. So mine is I do lots of these things. Under tension, I'll make the shoulders take proper position. Because proper positioning in the shoulders, a lot of times we believe that's about shoulder rotation. It's actually about scapular position. So it's about my scapula setting in down and towards the center of my spine. So you'll actually see that my scapula will settle in. And when I have proper shoulder rotation, which is up and back, it's the scapula that actually controls that. And you can do that with exercises. I've spent years teaching my body to know the muscle that pulls my scapula down towards my spine. And you can teach yourself it with these little rubber bands, and you can watch a lot of videos. So one way is, I believe they call it sword to something. I can't remember what it was. But you're actually teaching your scapula to go into position, and you're exercising those small muscles that keep that shoulder in the proper position. Same on the other side. And then I'll also do this one, which moves it more in a horizontal pattern, which is here. So you lock that elbow here, and rotationally, you set that shoulder in the proper position and need to do. Now, my goal is not to be a physical therapist. I watch videos that show me how to do it, but I was baffled for years why I was having so much shoulder issues. And it's really, as hunters and as backpackers, we wear those backpacks that force our shoulders forward. Of course, my little automatic vacuum cleaner is going to start. Hang on a second, turn that off. Ugh. And so as backpackers, we wear those backpacks that encourage all these muscles to shorten and to get like this. And then when we're trying to do things athletically, we have to be so conscientious of posture, and we have to create a strengthening exercise to the backside of that muscle to set that shoulder in the proper position. So I know that was a bit of a lengthy explanation, but if you struggled with it as much as I have, some of you out there are going, wow, okay, cool, that's what it is. I don't advise that you follow everything that I showed you. There's better stuff out there. My goal was to more make you aware of what the problem is and how to create the solution. I really like the Graston, and there's tons out there on physical therapy, on in proper shoulder positioning and everything else that will help you to learn that. So I hope you find that helpful.